What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Petey Pips, Next Wave Analyst, here with another top-down analysis. We went live earlier today, and the recording didn't record, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick run through of what we went live on. So this week basically has a ton of fundamental news coming out. Okay, CPI for the JPY. We have, of course, CPI for the CAB, but really what we're paying attention to this week is this here, which is the FOMC interest rates. Okay, when the Fed raises the rates, they are expected to raise rates by 0.75%. I think they have a chance at raising it a full percentage because of how behind the ball they are in interest rates. The JPY might raise their rates. They're not expected to, but they really need to. We have the Swiss franc going to be raising their rates as well. We have the GBP raising their rates. So we have literally almost every currency besides the euro, with a euro and I think Aussie with a possible interest rate decision. We have some more soft data for the GBP, PMI, and then we have the Fed speaking again on Friday. So this will be important to see what they have to say, and especially depending on what they do. So here's the deal with the indices and with the overall stock market. Okay, if the and I will just, I removed a lot of drawings. So let me just do this. If the stock market, or I'll say the interest rates, so we have very easy to understand the fundamentals of this. Interest rates up equals DXY down. Okay. When they are, or sorry, DXY up. When they start to raise the interest rates, the dollar goes up, and then stocks down, or any asset, really, any asset class down. So when they start to raise rates, this is what is usually the norm. Okay, interest rates up, the dollar goes up, and then the stocks go down. And also what goes up is bonds. Okay, now there's a whole bunch behind that, but that's the basics of it. So if they're raising rates, that means the stock market should go down. All right, that's our overall bias. Basically, we're expecting them to raise rates even more than what they're telling us they're going to raise it, because they need basically to do better on their inflation. We're not going to get onto all that. Let's go look at the charts though. The live session is where you're going to get a whole lot more of the fundamentals, a whole lot more of me breaking things down like crazy. Okay, so on the weekly, on the dollar, we have the just insane bullishness. This is the yearly volume profile. We've seen it go bullish all year. And 106.4 is pretty much the most traded price of the year. If price makes its way all the way down in here this week, which I highly doubt it's possible, then we will be looking for bullish opportunities. In fact, we're looking for any bullish opportunities that we can find because of how bullish this market is. Now, let's go on to the daily. And there is a little bit of momentum divergence here. The MACD is kind of flattening out every time it makes a new high, just kind of hits this level of like 1.05, and then we'll kind of correct down, and we might be seeing a bigger correction. Every time it has made an extended move, the corrections have been rather deeper. Okay, it's been this deep as well, so we could be seeing this correction all the way down into these areas. Okay, I did mark off that weekly point of control. We have another point of control here, basically just a whole bunch of liquidity, a whole bunch of volume sitting right at this level. So like I said, if it does fall down here, I'll be looking for buys. But even before that, we have this level here, where we've definitely respected before in the past. So when we go into the lower time frames, and a little messy now because we already did the analysis, but here I'll go ahead and just kind of delete this so we can get a good picture of what I'm looking at. Right now on the 4 hour, the market, all we can see really is this move up. We are already in an uptrend, so we want to stay with this, in my opinion. Now, this could be somewhat of a distribution type look. We could be seeing, it doesn't have to come up here, but we could be seeing somewhat of a distribution phase right here, and this could be somewhat of a fake move. I'm still going to play it like it's a real bullish move. So we have this kind of area of liquidity both sides. When we go on to the 1 hour, you can really see the equal highs, equal lows, but just the area of imbalance down here is what I'm going to be looking for. Where the market gets there, I'm going to be looking for a reaction there. So there's where you bring out your bullish fibs. We have this zone right here. That is the daily zone that held, lines up perfectly with the fib zone that we look at. So, I mean, a move, maybe when it breaks below here, it might give an opportunity for a move down into this. That might be something to look for. But ultimately, when it gets into this area, I'm going to be looking for this move to the upside. Now, if it stops right here and just moves up again, well, that's when I will expect these highs to most likely get hit and then a sharp move down. We have a daily point of control from the move, the bearish supply area where my price has moved out that hasn't been retested yet. So if this 110.50 gets hit, before this gets hit, I will look for this move, something like this. And within that, it would have to, for me to get like an opportunity to sell it. I don't really want to sell it right here. I really want to wait till it does this and kind of give me an opportunity, like something, one of these opportunities would be better in my opinion. Because if it does make this move up, that's showing that has taken some liquidity. And if it makes a sharp move back down, that will give me the confidence that it's going to come back and fill this imbalanced area. And then once it gets here, it's either going to stop right here and move up, or it's going to slam straight through this and go right to here and then move up to find the next area of liquidity, right? So if we're expecting the dollar to do a couple things, the dollar could come down a little bit more, then ultimately go up. If it does this right here first, I don't know how much of a bear I'm going to be when it gets here. Maybe a short-term bear, but then I think we're going to end up, doing something like that ultimately. That's one possibility. The other possibility is says it holds here. If it comes up here, I will be more or less, I'm not going to be thinking this is going to happen because there's still price action to fill. So I'm going to be looking for something like this on this type of play. And then if it comes into here, regardless, I'm looking for buys here and I'm looking for buys here. All right. So there's a lot of different options right now on the dollar, which means I really want to focus on, the dollar pairs. So we're going to look at, excuse me, we're going to look at EU next, or sorry, the euro next. And it's pretty much the inverse. Okay. We want it to kind of come up a little bit and then drop, just like we want the dollar to go down a little bit and then go up. But it looks like I would say the difference here is a little bit drastic. So you can see that this still has a good, I'd say 1% to get to the 78.6. Whenever you look at the euro to the upside, it only needs 0.5%, and they usually move very similar. So we're going to have to watch for that. I do see divergence here on the 1 hour as price is starting to wave up here. So if it comes up one more time, say it gives a little correction here and then comes up one more time, gives a little correction, comes up one more time and gives this divergence, 3 waves. Yes, that's an automatic sell. And regardless, I'm going to be looking for this sell anyway, because I think the dollar has a possibility to go up. Now, what would suck is if the dollar does go down a little bit further and this goes up a little bit too much and then it does this, well, you'd have to try to play it again. You really would. If that happens, that would be terrible, but hey, it is what it is. I can already see it might happen just based off of how this only needs to correct 50%, and then the dollar needs to correct a total of 1%. So if this makes this move all the way down here, this is most likely going to make a 1% move as well, which could be all the way right at these highs. So don't love that. But either way, I'm still going to be looking for this opportunity here. Boom, then boom. Hopefully to play it all the way down by Wednesday, or if Wednesday comes, hopefully the dollar pops and this does this. If not, there might be an opportunity here on the weekly point of control as well. Like if it stalls out here, it could pop. I'm not against that. We got this move here, and this would be the measured move right into the weekly point of control. So it would make sense for it to stop right here, but I'm not going to bet on it. I just have this line here for my sake, really. So I'll be playing short positions on the euro here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's okay. I think there might even be an opportunity for buys on the lowest time frame if the dollar does go down. Okay, so if the dollar goes down, first the dollar would need to go up. So if the dollar gives that bullish divergence play, this is probably, or bearish divergence play, sorry, this would be the move for EU. So we're going to be watching some lower time frame stuffs on the euro. Let's go into the pound. And the pound is a little bit different right now. It is at the bottom of a weekly channel. So it is at its extremes pretty much. I've marked off the 2020 low. We had a big bearish candle with big volume. At a low point, at this point, I'm not looking for reversals. It's just, if you're playing a reversal, don't have a lot of probability on it, or don't put a lot of hope into it. Don't put a lot of risk into it. It's okay to be right and not have your full risk into it, right? I will say that the divergence is massive. So down, 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 we have came up, up, up since then. That's usually a big reversal sign, but I want to see an actual shift in the structure before that, because everything just keeps going down. It'll come almost all the way to the swing structure and then go down, all the way to the swing structure, and then go down. I'm expecting this it needs to break a full swing structure for me to look for buys on GU with confidence on the macro perspective. On the lower time frames, though, what we're getting is the pound has made a lower low, and the dollar has not done that yet, and neither has the pound or the euro. So the pound is actually the weakest link right now. So if we're really looking to buy something, it's not the pound. The pound is the weakest. Now that could be, you could be looking at it like, well, since the pound is the weakest right now, it might have the most it might have the most, I guess, upside potential, but it is just the weakest one. So it also is the least probable, right? I'm not saying there's not a good opportunity right now, maybe for this to start to snap up. I'm not saying that. I think there is a probability for this. The dollar would have to sink, but I still do see something like this, or even like lower time frames where it starts and then it breaks out, right? And then it gives a bigger retrace. Like I'm talking long time from now, I can see this start to form. Let's go to the 4 hour. And it did break this low. So this kind of swing impulse, we played this last week and it just failed and hit stops. That's cool. We're looking for this to either start to impulse up to maybe say that this was a false breakout and we could do something like this, or if we go even lower to the lower time frames, I'm possibly thinking that it's going to break lower one more time, tap the bottom of this backside trend line again, and then kind of make this move. If it does this, we would need a 1, 2, 3 to look really good in order for 4 to happen. And then if 4 happens too, it's coming right into supply. So you really want to manage this correctly. but some people would even play this up into something like this one more time. I don't think I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna do that, but I think I'm just gonna wait for maybe like a 1-2 punch, 1-2-3 punch. But other than that, I'm probably not gonna mess with the pound much. Let's go to the Australian dollar, and they have the exact same structure right now on the lower time frames. I would just really wait for a bigger breakout. This might have already formed that for us to catch something like this right here, but I'm not convinced because the momentum isn't necessarily there with this move. And so I'm going to be waiting for like a big move up on the Aussie to play it, or really, I probably just won't mess with the Aussie at all, to be quite honest. Let's go to the Swiss franc, and this one's a little more interesting in my opinion. So the weekly is showing us. Let's kind of delete this and this. Weekly is showing possibility. First of all, ugly market, but you see the bearish move, choppy. I personally think it's a little choppy. So on the weekly, you're not getting a whole lot of data. On the daily is where you might be able to play more of like a range bound type market condition. And that's pretty much what I'm looking at this as. And we bounced off the bottom of the channel here. So we're either going to, come back to the bottom from where we are. We're in the middle of the channel. So when you're in the middle of a channel, okay, you can see how it's not the best reaction, but we reacted, reaction, and now we're reacting again. So there's definitely a possibility that this can react and go back down to the bottom of the channel, or ultimately even lower. The whole price action of this, okay, is balanced. Okay, we're in the middle of this. So it's completely balanced, meaning at any point it could get really volatile and move up in a big way, We have clipped this monthly POC right here as well. So there's room for it to fall, in my opinion. That would mean the dollar would go up a lot, most likely. And really, this is showing tons of strength. And what I think this is from is the pricing in of them raising rates this week. They were raising rates this week. So last week it was priced in. Now, if the market shoots down into this level when they do raise rates, I think it's a good buying opportunity still, because they're planning on continuing to raise rates. And since it's at the bottom of, if it comes down here, it will be at the bottom of this channel. It's been sideways for I don't know how many months. We might as well look for it to continue to kind of just keep in that range. So this looks good to me. I'm a little worried about the volume all the way down there. This could like end up doing something like this too, but I'm liking this opportunity. I don't want to play this sell though. So if you go onto the 1 hour, you'll be able to see that this is, I don't want to say I don't want to play it, I guess, but this should ultimately, I might actually play this. It doesn't look terrible. Come up here on the 78.6 and then make a move down, and it's something like this. So if we can get this down in here and then a little further, we have some more volume right here. This looks like a daily volume. And we have more way down here where that other one was. So I really like this opportunity actually on the Swiss. That would mean if this does all the way up here and then all the way down, USD CHF is going to do the exact opposite. So the USD CHF is going to come down a little bit and then rocket ship up. And if the dollar does this as well, if the dollar comes down into that bullish fib and then makes a move up, and this does this, USHEF will be the play of the week. All right, the yen, we did some Wyckoff schematic on the yen that we see possibly happening right now. So we're just basically waiting on this Let's go into the weekly to kind of see what's going on a bigger picture. And last week's candle was a rejection from the old all-time low. So I think they are starting to build positions here. There is a little bit of divergence on the weekly, but it's not super clear. When you go to the daily, you can see the monthly point of control is sitting right here now, but price is above the old all-time high. I know it's a lot of lines right here. You can't really see much. Let's go into the 4 hour and maybe you'll be able to see the schematic. We have phase A, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4 move. And then we get the test, secondary test. And I'm looking for a spike down and then another test to kind of confirm a full Wyckoff phase. That would look pretty good for the yen to start moving up. They might raise their rates this week. They're not expected. If they do raise their rates, it's going to go up. If they don't raise the rates, it's going to go down. But it can't go too much more lower, in my opinion. Well, it can do anything. But if it does go any lower than this, we'll be watching the volume. Because right now, look, the volume is kind of telling me this move isn't real. The volume is lower, but the market is moving up, breaking levels. That's when you know the market is probably not going to continue higher. So I'll be looking for this schematic on the yen still. I'm not necessarily just going to sell it because I see an opportunity that it might do this, because that's not how we roll. We wait for this to happen first, and then we'll get in right here or right here technically. Or if we see all of this happen, which we have, we would get in either right here, we'd get in right here. We don't care. We would be very bullish. All right, let's go into gold. So on gold, I spoke about it on the macro analysis, and I still stand by this. I do not believe that this zone or this level is going to hold here with all these wicks right here. That's kind of contradicting, because every time it's came down there, it has held, but eventually, which I think it's going to be soon, when we're getting high volume pickup into the zone like that with the bearish candle, I think we're going to roll down and hit this yearly POC. All right, let's go into the daily. And I mean, the high volume coming down, this to me looks like a really good selling opportunity. The only thing I don't like about this bears is that there is some bullish divergence coming in. But when I go into the 4 hour time frame, I can really see the good opportunity. You know, if it comes up into my fib area way up here, which I have an alert, then I will be looking for sells. The monthly point of control right here might even be a good spot, but I'm gonna just be waiting a little bit longer than that. And then on the 1 hour, you can kind of maybe play the correction. It's so sketchy because this level will not hold is right here. And even if it comes back down below that level, that's just showing the strong bears that are in, and this could just fly down. No joke, fly down. But it's still a possibility here. Boom, 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 into that retracement level. So I'm not going to discredit that at all. The areas I'm really looking to buy gold at on the daily, if I bring out my divergence fib, it's pretty deep. It's way down at like 1550, 1570 area. And that's where that other point of control is, that yearly point of control. Divergence fib, 1587 would be like the first spot I look for, really. And let's see if that lines up with any price action to the left. And we definitely have something right here. So let's look. Oh yeah, nice demand and then more demand. So that's good. That's good for the buys. Silver I have just for confirmation. And it does look a little bit more bullish than gold, in my opinion. They're usually very, correlated. But since September 1st, this has just moved up, up, up. And since September 1st, this has just moved down, down, not down, 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 but barely up and then straight down. So it hasn't ended the month up, unlike silver has ended the month or started the month, and now we're at towards the end of the month up, if that makes sense. So something's going on here. They usually correlate. They're not right now. I don't know 100% what it is. I don't trade silver. I just analyze it to confirm when the metal markets are looking good. And this is kind of looking more bullish and gold is looking bearish, but I'm still thinking that level isn't going to hold for gold. All right, crude oil is in an area, swing area we've been looking at for the longest time. It's still holding, it's rejecting. There's a possible 1 hour setup here to take it, start taking it to the upside if you wanted to swing it on some big boy stuff. But nonetheless, I don't trade oil a whole lot. I don't truly understand how the market or how this market works. And so I don't want to get anyone into some trades that they're not willing to get into, but I see a swing buy opportunity on oil. Let's do some VIX. So really the VIX looks like it might have taken out some liquidity and it might move to the downside. And if that's the case, this would be the level I would want it to hold if it's going to go to the upside again. If not, I'm sorry, but it's most likely coming all the way down here, at least to right here. So that would mean if we get this move, that would mean the indices are going to pop. If it does this, and then the indices are going to pop and drop. If this goes like this, and then boom, straight through, the indices are going to make big moves to the upside, big moves to the upside. So those are just the two views I'm seeing right now on this. Honestly, it looks a little bearish since it stopped right here at this midline of the, I guess, range that it has stopped at plenty of times before. So I don't love that. Let's go on to the S&Ps. And really, I have a clear bias for these. They are bearish, like extremely bearish. The one thing I see that kind of takes that away is we just made a new low on the day and the daily volume or momentum is not making that new low. But the volume is all the way there. So I love that. I'm still bearish. I see it's in a possible swing area to the bulls, but I'm not playing that at all. I'm waiting for it to come up into here and then I'm going to sell it. And it's like that with all of the indices. Waiting for it to come up and then I'm going to sell off. Just making sure everything looks okay on the 1 hour. Yeah, I also think that if it does give this opportunity here, I might look for the buys in this area. I just wanted to make that clear because there could be a three-wave divergent move. So that's the same thing for all of them, essentially. You know, they all look very similar. And then the bonds ended up doing almost that 4% move that I was looking for on this, very close. And so how I'm going to look at the bond market this week, I'm going to be comparing. I'm going to be seeing if the bonds can come down into this level. And if that happens, the dollar is most likely going to come down into its level. And then once it gets into here, if it has some bullish reaction, then I'm going to think we're going to continue up. If it doesn't, just kind of starts to stall out, it's probably going to be maybe a top for the bonds for a little bit. Let's go into Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin is literally at a swing price as we speak. I'm waiting for it to kind of break out. Then I will play the buys. I might regret that. It's all good. It is all good in the hood. So we're looking at Bitcoin at possibly going up right here, but ultimately I would probably want it to stop, or not want it to stop, but I would be looking for it to stop right here based on like the weekly time frame, because when you go to the 1 week, the candle is very bearish, high volume. There's nothing really telling me that this should stop right here. In fact, the lows make it more enticing for it to break through, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. I was saying that the opportunity that it's giving right now isn't the worst. It might take off from here, and you might, be one of those people that actually bought the pullback. But if I had to put money on it, I would say we're going lower. So on the daily, I have some spots that I want to look at. The 14,300 level, and then the 10,200 level. Those are two prices that I think tomorrow I said I need to load up my Coinbase account, because if this stuff does fall, you want to have limit orders here so it'll fill you at the price you want it. All right. And then Ethereum is literally just the stronger version of Bitcoin right now. So you see Bitcoin bottomed out. It actually made a little bit of a lower low. And let me mark this off as divergence fib. But Bitcoin actually made the babyest lower low on the CME market, and freaking, why did it do that? Control Z. No? Okay. Well, and Ethereum hasn't gotten close to that yet. So I think Ethereum's strength is showing, but with the merge that happened, it was definitely a buy the news or buy the rumor, sell the news type shit. Oh, those are the 4 hour. That's right. Not two fucking things. Let me go to the 4 hour and get that price out of there. Okay. And then, okay. Yeah. How many do I have? Divergence fib, and then make sure it's on all of my shit, and even weekly. So then when I go to the daily, we can see that this is another price that I'm looking at. And if it goes into there, I'm looking for strikes. Okay. But yeah, the lower low situation right here ain't happening on Ethereum. So here was the lowest point of Bitcoin, 07. So the 7th of September. And then here is the 7th of September on Ethereum right here. So we're not even close to the lows, which is showing Ethereum's strength. So even though it has been weaker in the past couple of days, I think it's still in a really interesting spot to look for buys soon. Very interesting spot for Ethereum, just based off the strength, right? It's been stronger than Bitcoin. If there's gonna be a move here from Bitcoin, Ethereum's gonna move as well, most likely. And then I'm personally going to be putting money down here. So that's just me on MT4. You know, I probably won't play this move, but on a longer term Coinbase account, yes, I'll be, investing into on these prices. And if it goes lower, then it goes lower. I'm definitely not putting my biggest bag in on Ethereum yet, but I do see the probabilities. I want to look at XRP right now. That's the market cap. XRP. Let's look at this, because it has made an interesting move. And if it begins to break out of this here, I do believe that it has a chance to make a big run soon. It has a very nice Wyckoff distribution or accumulation, sorry. It just didn't quite take out the lows. If it does this, well, then get ready. But everything will do that if it does that. Let's go to the 1 hour and see how this thing closed. Oh, it started getting a little bit diverged, right? So it actually made this little parabolic move. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're getting this. We should see this. I was just showing the difference between XRP and all the other ones, because XRP has made a significant move to the upside. So I think there's a shot at this ABC, and then maybe even doubling this price right here after that. So something like this to this. All right, guys, that's it for me today. I appreciate y'all for coming on, watching the analysis. Hope you learned something. If you need some real mentorship, make sure you hit us up. Link is down low. Like, subscribe, all that helps us out. Appreciate it. Y'all take care.